Right, we are back with Paul's Punch Up. Today we've got Justin Burlinson, great fighter, 6-0, 6 finishes. He's about to fight on Dana White's Contender series. It's actually the last fight of the entire series, isn't it?
Yeah.
Main fight, which is on, what's the date of the fight?
November the 2nd.
November the 2nd, so make sure you tune that. It's on UFC Fight Pass. It won't be on BT Sport, will it? It should be on, Fight
I think
Pass.
it's on ESPN Plus as well.
There we go. So ESPN Plus and the UFC Fight Pass. Justin, mate, thank you for coming and taking time out of your day to come on this podcast. I appreciate it. I know we've not known each other for that long, but in the short amount of time that I've known you, mate, like, your work ethic is fucking ridiculous, bro. Like, I've seen other guys, obviously we've got Jack and the whole gym, like the whole Four Corners, by the way, shout out Four Corners gym, repping the hat as well. It's fucking unbelievable, the work you put in, and I don't know anyone else that deserves it as much as you, so before we start I just want to let you know that
Thanks,
I wish you the best of luck
Appreciate
for
that.
it. So, how's the feeling like going into this fight? And obviously that's a very generic question, but knowing that you've got a UFC contract on the line, how are you approaching this fight? Is it one of them where you're just thinking it's like just one other fight, taking it as it comes, or how hard is it to switch off knowing that like the opportunity is so big?
To be honest, I don't know what about like any other fighters what they're feeling, but like I thought I would have felt a little bit more pressure with this fight, but none at all really. Just another fight, just like as if I was fighting on any other show really. Just gone in there just to fight really and win.
Do you reckon that'll change? Like obviously you're flying out to Vegas in a couple of days. Do you reckon when you land in Vegas it'll probably feel a bit more real?
Probably, but like, I mean, once we get there, and it's like obviously I've never been to America and I've never been to Vegas, so obviously that'll be a good experience, and like with the UFC PI and stuff like that, that'll be good. But apart from the fight, I think it'll just be the same because it's not like it's a massive arena like a UFC event. You know what I mean? So there's hardly anyone in there watching. It'll be like just behind closed doors, really.
With
like
Dana White.
Yeah, just what?
Dana White.
It might be a bit weird, like when I'm standing in the corner, I just look and see Dana White sitting there. That'll probably be a bit strange. But apart from that, I'm not really.
Have you got much promo to do when you're
there? I think a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
so
just
will that be also something that's new to you? Because you've done a few promo bits here and there, but
I've
nothing
done
like quite
a
on that
tiny bit
scale.
for like Cage Warriors. Not really much, just like literally shot a spar for like 10 seconds and then done. But I think this is like a little bit different. Like
a bit more higher.
Hit the bags, do a couple of suplexes on the sandbag and stuff like that. Just stuff that you actually didn't really do in the gym, but they get you to do on the promo.
Is it hard to not constantly think about that UFC contract, or like I know it's kind of going back and forth in circles, but knowing that obviously it's your dream to be in the UFC contract, is that something that you purposely try not to think of as actively so it doesn't like build up too much in your head, or just not really thought about it?
No, not really thinking about it much. It hasn't really like been something I've had to like calm myself down about and like think not get too worried about it. Just not really. Just gone in there like any other fight really. Just I like fighting. You know what I mean? Like other fights might do for like the fame, or they might like the cameras, or they might like just other stuff. But like I just like fighting really. So just gone in there for the fight.
How would you describe your relationship with the fight game?
I don't know. Maybe it's just like any other fight. It's just my life really, innit? Just like train every day. Just everything evolves around fighting. You know what I mean? Like I moved from Sunderland to Liverpool for fighting, so it's just it.
How long have you been in Liverpool for now? How long have you training?
18 months. But
Yeah.
I've moved, like me and my girlfriend's moved down fully about 6 months ago. But before that, I was obviously living here in the gym just with the lads. But once my girlfriend moved down, we had to get over
A bit more serious.
a bit more space. You know?
So obviously, like I said, you just touched up. You're from Sunderland. How important is being from Sunderland? Like how much of an influence does where you come from been on either your life and your career?
It means a lot, especially like more now that I've moved away from there.
Do you appreciate it more?
I appreciate it more. You know what I mean? I definitely miss home, like Sunderland. You know what I mean? I miss all my friends, like family. You know what I mean? Don't really get to see them as much, and like just there's not many people from Sunderland really like done much. You know what I mean? Like sports wise. You know what I mean? So it's like that means a lot to us to like prove that I can
What's
go all the way.
What's the MMA scene in Sunderland like?
It's pretty good, to be honest. It's really good. A lot of good fighters like in the past have come from Sunderland. They might not made it to like the UFC level or stuff like that, but a lot of good like talented fighters and some good coaches and stuff like that. So
do you take that? I don't know too much about Sunderland, but from the little I do know from watching the Sunderland Till I Die documentary, the whole city just seems like the work ethic is just crazy, because obviously you had the whole miners, and the whole city just seems like full of hard working people. So do you take that ethic into your not fighting style, but do you take that pride in being I'm from Sunderland, I'm a hard worker, into everything that you do? Like, how much of that influences you?
Yeah, definitely. Just like obviously it is like what it's like on the documentary. You know what I mean? There's not much. The people in Sunderland haven't really got much money. A bit like Liverpool, just working class people. You know what I mean? And like people do like work hard in like maybe jobs they don't want to be in, but they need to be that like to provide for the family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it is like that. You know what I mean?
So take me back to the beginning. What was the first entrance into MMA for like? What was the first thing you ever remember watching from MMA on? How did you know, or when did you know even that okay, MMA is going to be my future? Take me right from the beginning.
The first time I ever watched it, I think it was a UFC event, and I was actually at the caravan, like on the school holidays. Like, we used to go to the caravan every school holidays. I was there, and I was up like 2 o'clock in the morning just by myself, and I turned the telly on.
Just out of chance?
I had just out of chance to turn it on. It was like Spike TV.
That's a fucking long time ago.
Rampage Jackson fighting actually, and I don't think it was live. It was just like a replay of like an event.
Yeah.
And Rampage Jackson was fighting the UFC, and he I think he just knocked someone out, and I just seen it. That's
fucking
crazy. And then
how old were you at that time?
I was dead young then. I was probably about 9, 10. But then I didn't start till I was like 15. So like I always liked sports. I always done sports, you know what I mean? But I was never really good at any sports until like I started MMA, and I liked it.
And when did you start MMA? When was the first time you decided to how hard was it to find a gym as well? Because MMA has only really been like that big of a mainstream sport, if you like, for probably since the McGregor era, right? So that's like maybe 6-7 years. So you're saying when you were 9, that was a long time ago. I can imagine MMA gyms were a bit more of a niche market. Was it hard to find anything, or?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I started at like a grappling gym, so like it wasn't really like an MMA gym, and like I'd never really heard of like I'd heard of grappling, and obviously I'd seen it in the UFC, but I didn't really know like what it was. And then I started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the gi, and that's how I sort of got into it.
How old were you?
15.
15. Oh, yes, it's quite a big jump from, if you're saying the first time you watched it, you were 9 and 15. Did you manage to watch a lot of UFC up until that moment?
No, not really. Like I didn't really watch it that much.
Was it not something that just like you seen it once, but it did not light that fire instantly?
No, like I just like the first time I seen it, I just thought that's crazy. That like I never like seen myself doing that in the future. You know what I mean? But once I tried it, then I could see myself.
Yeah.
Like,
so it was once you had that first session.
Yeah.
So what if initially you didn't think that it was what you wanted to do? What made you go to the gym for that first time?
To be honest, my dad's friend just said, "Oh, you should come to the gym," and because I can still remember him saying like, "Oh, you're too soft," like he was saying like, "Oh, like as if I was like too soft as a kid."
Yeah.
And, like I need to like toughen up a little bit. So he took us to this gym, and I think he thought I was just gonna like quit and not go back. But like after about a year, I was beating him up anyway, so it didn't really matter.
How old were you in your first fight?
15.
15, yeah. Oh, so it was pretty soon, just thrown in the deep end.
Yeah.
What were the cards like at that time? Like again, because MMA wasn't really a big thing, so a lot of them were illegal shows, weren't they?
Nah, it was a decent show, to be honest. It was called Made for the Cage. It was a decent show at the time.
How much can you remember of that first night?
To be honest, I thought I was going to be more nervous. Like in the back, I thought, oh, I'm going to be like dead nervous. And I remember when I was in school, like, and like no one really expected us to like have a fight. I remember like when people asked us like, "Are you having a fight?" and I would sort of like play it down like as if I didn't want them or not, because I just thought I wasn't that confident as a kid, so I didn't really want people to know in case like I lost or something. So
in case
like,
it didn't go well.
I kept it quiet, sort of, and then when I actually experienced it, went in there and fought and won, like that's when I knew I was like, I want to like get all the way.
It was that first experience, that first win, and then once you've had that first win, that's when you clicked. It's like, fuck, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about, you turned pro, was it 19?
19,
yeah. Like I said, 6 wins, 6 finishes, ridiculous fucking ratio. You've had obviously fights in Cage Warriors, that was the most recent fight. You've said obviously that you're not really, I get the vibe that you don't really get that nervous for your fights. Has that been a case throughout every single fight, or have you had any fights where the circumstances have been a little bit different?
Yeah, to be honest, just not really. I feel like I do get nervous, but I just feel like I handle it better than most fighters.
Yeah.
Like I just like inside, like I just like handle like, because everyone gets bad thoughts, you know what I mean? I get negative thoughts and like, as well as like positive thoughts. You get in there confident, but there's little like doubts that creep in your head. But I just feel like I just handle that well, you know what I mean? And just calm myself down and just take it how it is.
I'd love to know, do you have any specific approaches that you take to fights? Like, do you have any specific things that when you know you're coming up to camp that you'll, like, for example, any sacrifices that you make, or anything that what works for you when you know that you've got a fight camp? What works for you to set the environment to be perfectly in tune for what you need?
I don't know really, because I think that might be the case for like other fighters.
Yeah.
Like, because I know a lot of fighters they'll train just in camp and then they'll not really train. Like, I sort of just train the same all
the time,
all year round, which is like maybe it's a bit bad sometimes, like overtraining and stuff like that. But I try like more now. I try and just work on like better recovery stuff, just recovering better so I can train like that all year round. But I think it's just when I'm in camp, it's just bringing my weight down. A little bit more like working on cardio and stuff like that, just like getting sprint work in and stuff like that, and S&C. But apart from that, I'm just all year round, I'm just trying to get better. Do
you struggle with the balance of that overtraining and just training just because of how much you enjoy the passion for it?
Yeah, a little bit. Like my coach John now, he's always like telling us like, oh, just rest. But like sometimes I just want to train, you know what I mean? I just want to, instead of sitting about just being bored. It's like I was saying, like it is sort of your life, you know what I mean? So if I'm not training, then I'm just sitting about bored. So
yeah,
I just train.
How much, like, I talk about mental health a lot on my podcast. I feel like especially men's mental health, it's one of those topics where people are sometimes shied away from speaking about, but I think it's important to bring it up. I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like if I don't train, my whole world in a way, just my brain's just not wired the same. Is it something similar to you that you need it kind of just to keep you in a...
Yeah, maybe it's like I don't know. I've never really like suffered like from like mental health and that, but I've seen it in other fighters I've trained with over the years. You know what I mean? I've seen them like go down that path of like maybe bad mental health and stuff like that, and it can be both. It can be off overtraining and be not trained enough, stuff like that. But for me, I just train because I enjoy it. You know what I mean? Just but I think for everyone it's good to train and keep like your physical health is obviously going to help your mental health. So it just
they're both common part. Yeah, definitely. How would you describe John Gillies? Obviously, he's our coach, the guy that runs our gym. How would you describe your relationship with him?
It's like he's like an uncle, really. Like it's just I don't know. He's just like he's there whenever you need him. You know what I mean? He's like he's not just a coach. Like deny that he's a lot of different roles in one. You know what I mean? Like he's also my manager, plus my coach. Like he's just everything really. Just anything.
He's got a massive influence on your life.
Yeah, definitely.
How did you end up meeting John?
Well, he rang us first. Like I didn't even like I didn't know his name or anything like that. I've never heard him. And one night I was just in mine back up Sunderland, and I just got out of the shower, and then someone rang us, and I just answered, and I just heard this like Scouse voice, and I was thinking, oh my god. It's like, I was like, oh fuck, who's this? And then he just explained who he was. He works for MTK, and that he would he said, oh, I'll send you a contract over if you want to look at it. But, I'm wanting to sign you to MTK. So I just like looked at the contract, got someone else to look at it, and then just like
taken off from there. So how long have you known him for? Have you known him for about 2 years, 3 years?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah. And would you say? Because obviously, would you think that moving to Liverpool was the necessary step for you to take your career that next step forward?
Yeah, definitely. I just felt like it was there. Just felt like it was the right place for me, just to be for like training, and just like other people say, oh, like they'll move away at the train so they can keep concentrate because they've got too many distractions. I never really had distractions back home. All I did train, but I just felt like just to reach that next level, I just had to move.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, you love your training. You're constantly training 24/7, and a lot of people, like I said, that balance, they struggle because they either overtrain or they just don't know when to stop. So I'd be interested to know what do you do in your downtime, or what do you do to switch off, and when you're in your full mode recovery, what do you do?
Let me just chill, like get on the pictures, just watch films, just like anything, just keep occupied. You know,
Simplicity.
Yeah, go for food, just try and whenever I can, just try and chill. You know what I mean? Just to, like recover, stuff like that.
What would you say so far, either in your personal life or in your fighting career, has been the biggest step of adversity that you've had to face, and what have you learned from it?
I don't really know. Like, I don't know. Maybe someone else might be like, "Oh, this was hard. That was hard." But like,
or maybe, for example, like, could move in a way that move from Sunderland to Liverpool.
Yeah,
has that
like,
been probably one of the hardest
yeah,
things
stuff like that. Like that's obviously hard. You know what I mean? It's like hard money wise, because like at this level, you're not really making like anything really, like making no money at all. So you rely on like sponsors and PTs, other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's hard. You know what I mean? Like moving away and stuff like that. But maybe just missing your family.
Yeah,
it's probably the hardest bit. You know what I mean?
Do you still get to go see him? Do you still go home often?
Yeah. Like, I pop home sometimes, see my family, and but then it's like it's only for like a day or two, and then come back down.
Yeah.
Just start training again.
Well, a lot of people, obviously we know people like Eric as well, who's been away from family for so long. I think a lot of people are afraid to make those sacrifices because it's not an easy decision. These decisions are not easy. It's in a way, like, even though it's so tough being away from your family, like sometimes, like I said, those are the steps that you need to take in order to take you to that next step, because in the long run that'll probably benefit you coming here and training, because look at the opportunity you're getting now. I'd like to think, and I'm pretty confident you will get this UFC contract, and then before you know it, mate, you'll be in a better position and you'll be able to bring your family closer. So like that whole time where you've been away from your family, that lost time will eventually be made up somehow.
Yeah.
Who would you say in your personal life has had the biggest influence in your life?
Probably my Dave, me mate Dave. He's like,
shout out Dave.
I've known him for like ever since I started. You know what I mean? Like 10 years now, more than 10 years, and like ever since I started, like I remember before I'd had a fight, I'd went to watch his fight, and that sort of twigged in my mind, like fucking hell, like he's just won that fight, like first round submission. So you just think, like, if he can do it, I can do that as well. You know what I mean? And like just little things that he's always like looked after us ever since I've started training, like picked us up for training, helped us with money, everything really. So
been a solid rock.
Yeah,
good one, mate. Are you flying out to Vegas?
No. I've been every fight, but I'll be missing this one. But hopefully I'll not have to miss any more.
How hard is it watching them fight?
Oh, the hardest thing ever. Absolute fucking nerve-wracking. Kills us.
Was it the same as well when you were watching him fight? Was it hard watching him fight?
Yeah, definitely. Like I remember, like, what was your record? 10-1.
11-1.
11-1, and like I think I'd knew him about 2 years, and I remember like the fights he's won, like I remember being so nervous. I remember the time he lost, and like I remember being like in the crowd, like by myself. I feel like I was gonna cry. Like just felt like horrible.
It's not nice, like seeing someone so close to you. Like it's.
Yeah.
I always say fighting's a brutally beautiful sport. Because especially like I said, you might not get nervous, but when it's someone that you know and someone that you love and someone you care for, it's a completely different. Because you know there's nothing you can do. Like it's literally all in their hands. So it's like fuck, like.
Yeah, like even just the other week, like when I was in Jack Rand's corner for Bellator, and like when he was walking out, like everyone's like cheering. There's like people shouting stuff in the crowd, and I was just sitting in the corner like so nervous, just like my heart was pounding, and like I was thinking I didn't get 10% not nervous for like my own fights, but I was like being in someone else's corner that you train with and you're friends with. It's like
Different.
It's hard.
Yeah, hard. To be honest, mate, I don't think there's too much else that I think we should cover. The only thing I wanted to ask you is, where would you see yourself in a year's time, or where do you want to see yourself rather? Like, do you set your goals long term, short term, or do you just live life as every day comes?
Yeah, I've definitely had like long term goals, because I remember when I first turned pro, someone asked us like, oh, when do you think, like obviously when you turn pro, like people start asking like, oh, where will you be, you know what I mean, like do you want to go to the UFC? And like I remember people used to ask us like, oh, do you want to be in the UFC, like sort of asking a doubting way, and I'd always just be like, of course I do. Like, well, I didn't train this hard to be like
To be no one.
to be to just be like a journeyman, you know what I mean. I trained this hard to be like the best. So, and I remember seeing when I first turned pro that I'd be in the UFC by the time I was 24. And I'm still 24 now, so
That's brilliant, mate.
So that was like the only long term goal I really had. But like short term goals, obviously just get the contract and then get like a fight in England, you know what I mean.
Sell out some stadiums. So, in a year's time, where do you want to be in the UFC? And is there anyone in specific that you've been looking at that you might want to fight?
I don't know, really just sort of just
Anyone.
Anyone can fucking have it.
But you always like, I don't know about other fights, but I just watch like the top 10, you know what I mean. I just try and watch all the best fighters in like the divisions around my weight, to like obviously all the weights really, but to learn from, and obviously my weight, just what like see how they performing and stuff like that. So just look at them.
One other question that I did forget: who out of all the UFC fighters from the time that you've watched, who was the one guy that you used to look up to most?
Probably John Jones. Until now.
Yeah, maybe not the smartest guy now.
No, he's not now. Like, but like when he was coming up, I used to always watch John Jones, and like some of my amateur fights, like I used to go out and fling some like crazy stuff like that I'd never do in the gym, but I just watched John Jones do it. And
Come
I
out
was
with
thinking,
flying
this fight, I'm just coming out with a spin kick, like.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Justin, for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you tune in November 2nd, ESPN Plus and UFC Fight Pass. Come and see Justin fight for a chance to win a contract with the UFC. Thank you for coming, and I appreciate it, bro. Good luck for your fight. Oh, got a fucking stretch, but my man. Thank you.